You have been responded.
What's going on, everybody? This is episode 6 of the Jacob and Ashley Show.
The Ashley and Jacob Show.
And we're here every Tuesday bringing you the best things that we think matter in nerd news.
Yeah.
You sounded surprised by that. So, we're going to get right into it. So, Ash.
Yeah.
We have an announcement.
We do?
Yeah.
What's the announcement?
Michael, our new intern, will be joining the show temporarily, helping us out.
Awesome.
So shout outs to Michael. Yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
We appreciate all of your help, Michael. This will be the first episode that he is doing both the audio editing and the video editing. So shout outs to him. Thanks for joining the show. And moving right along. So Ash.
Yeah.
What you been doing?
I finished Spirtfarer finally.
Woot.
The chains are broken.
Woot. Ash is the kind of person where she'll only play one game at a time. Like that's when I talk about, I mean, one single player game at a time. Is that right?
Yes. Pretty much. I try. Sometimes I'll have a really small game on the side, like maybe some sort of puzzle game. I'll do something like that. But besides that, I'm not going to do anything, I guess, major, like just 2 full-blown story games. So I am just that main one game person.
Yeah.
And I completed it 100%.
Ooh, nice. Completionist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't complete everything 100% because I would drive myself crazy.
How many hours did you have in?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No, I don't be tracking that stuff, really. I just play until it's over. Your Switch is over there if you want to check.
You had 55 hours in Spirtfarer.
No, that's not too bad.
In between 55 and 60. And that's including times where I would come in and you just had Spirtfarer on the TV and I just cut it off.
I tell you take maybe 2 to 3 hours off of that. So I'd say about 52 hours.
Okay. Somewhere between 50 and 55. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a good for what, a $30 game?
Yeah. $30 game.
Yeah.
It was really great. It had a lot of content.
Okay.
The story it wasn't really a story. It was more like a lesson.
It was more like an experience?
Yeah, an experience.
Okay.
But I will say the end kind of left me wanting more.
Okay.
That it might have been purposeful.
Okay.
But it was good. I liked it.
Out of 10, what would you give Spirtfarer?
I would give it, I'd say an 8.5.
8.5.
I want to say that.
That's a solid game.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I have been doing this week is I have been watching Infinite Dendrogram.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I wish you could have seen Ashley's face. Infinite Dendrogram is an anime about MMOs. It's a little bit different where it's somewhere in between Sword Art Online, where it's super serious, everybody's gonna die, and what's the one that we're watching right now? Bofuri? Yeah, Bofuri. It's somewhere in between there. So it's not super happy-go-lucky, but at the same time, it's they take their MMO seriously.
Yeah.
Basically, it's another one of those VR MMOs. So literally he'll lay down in the bed, put the headset and everything else on, and get transported into the world. In the world, you get what's called an embryo, and the embryo can take, I think, 5 different forms. Plus, there's combinations and different.
Is the embryo like a glove?
No, it basically it affixes into their hand like a jeweled egg.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So again, this is all in the MMO world, not in real life. So he doesn't have to get an embryo in real life and then jump in the game. So, right, that'd be crazy.
That's kind of scary. I'm I don't want to be a part of this cult.
Right. No. So in the game, you have the embryo affixed to your hand, and eventually, based on your needs, the embryo will hatch. So spoilers for episode 1. So he gets in, creates his avatar. His brother also plays the game, and he's played it for a while. So I think it's maybe been around for years or something, like a couple years.
So the main character is a newbie?
The main character is like a fresh newbie.
Okay.
So he goes in, meets his brother. Actually, he goes in and some girl runs into him in the game, breaks his arm, makes him faint.
What?
And breaks his arm, breaks his leg, and makes him faint. Then she heals him, then asks, has he seen her sister?
Okay.
She writes her information down on a piece of paper, gives it to him. Then he goes and meets his brother and tells about the girl that he met. And it turns out the girl that ran into him that asked if he had seen her sister was actually an NPC.
Oh.
Right.
So there is kind of like a game piece.
No, they call them Tians, but they have basically as much sentience in the game as we would.
So they're kind of like those robots with emotions.
They would pass a Turing test.
Okay.
You know what a Turing test is?
No.
A Turing test is the test that basically says, can an AI, like basically if you take away the body and like you chat over the phone or you text with an AI, can an AI make you believe that they're a real human?
Okay. Yeah. I got you.
So anyway, it turns out that the TN or NPC was actually, I think, like a princess for the kingdom. And her sister, which is another princess, has gone missing.
Okay.
Right. So his brother takes him to go find the princess. He basically they basically do a little bit of deduction, go find where they believe the sister is, and lo and behold, there the sister is and her older sister is there. Both sisters are there. And they're fighting like some huge giant worms.
Okay.
Like anime worms. And basically like
anime.
5 of them take the brother underground, and he's like trying to run away with the sister. And then a worm corners him and hits him like a couple times. And right before he's about to die, his embryo hatches. And it's actually like a maiden type. So which means it's like, it's a humanoid embryo. And she transforms into a sword. It helps him defeat this super high level monster right off the bat.
Okay.
So it gets really interesting because a maiden type is a very unique type of embryo. And there's also a very specific reason in the anime why he was able to summon a maiden type embryo.
Okay.
So each person is able to only summon one embryo because you get one unique embryo that is specific and unique to you.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it came out last year, so it's still fresh. Waiting for waiting for season 2 now. But it was a really good anime.
Okay, cool. That sounds great. It sounds kind of crazy for the first episode and for the character's first time in the game.
It was one of the few anime that I've watched where I didn't even need a 3-episode rule to get excited about it.
Okay.
Like 1 episode in, I'm excited about the anime. Let's go.
So it's not too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy enough.
It's crazy enough. Yeah, it's definitely fantastical. It's not too gory. It's actually not gory at all. So we're going to move on. And the thing that we have been co-oping together, working title, is
we gotta get a new title for that, for real.
We do need to get a new title.
You say that every week, working title.
If you have a better idea for what we've been co-oping together, please leave it in the comment section below. All right, so the thing we've been co-oping together is...
Again...
WandaVision.
It's so good, and I don't want it to end.
We have 1 episode left. Again, we're going to do spoilers for episode 8. If you have not seen WandaVision, please skip ahead to the timestamp as listed on the screen.
Yeah.
All right, so you have been warned. Ashley, do you understand that this latest episode of WandaVision was the biggest, most powerful, most mind-blowing episode of WandaVision yet?
Yes.
Do you understand why?
I feel like because it's kind of opening up different universes or like
different possibilities.
Yeah, different possibilities to what universe we're in.
Yes. That is a good one. That is a good one. Are we in the actual MCU universe? That's a good one as well. The other thing that you have to consider, because the entire time the MCU has stated explicitly that Wanda's powers came from the Tesseract, which was in the Loki scepter. That's the entire explanation.
Wait, the powers came from that?
The scepter. That's what they said.
But it seemed like she had the powers before that.
Since Age of Ultron.
Oh, you're talking about like
yes,
in another timeline.
No, I'm not talking in another timeline. I'm talking in the MCU. Since Age of Ultron, when she was introduced, they said that her powers came from Loki's scepter, aka the Tesseract, aka the Mind Stone.
Yes. But from what it seems like in this past episode, she had the powers
from birth.
And the stone just enhanced her powers.
You are correct. That also brings into question whether or not Quicksilver had his powers from birth. Now, obviously, he's dead, so we really don't know.
Yeah.
Because remember before that, they said that everybody who had touched Loki's scepter died.
Yeah.
And she was the only one to make it. And when she touched it, remember she had that cool vision of her in the actual Scarlet Witch outfit.
Yeah, that looked pretty awesome.
And skipping ahead to the end real quick, Agatha actually called her the Scarlet Witch.
Yes. And that was not a possibility.
Correct.
Before.
Because of Fox, there was no way that they were going to be able to call her the Scarlet Witch, legally speaking. So they called her the Scarlet Witch. They showed the Scarlet Witch outfit. It's so much to get excited about.
There's a lot going on, man. White Vision.
Oh, no, yeah. White Vision is actually really bad, to get into just a little bit of speculation. Basically, when White Vision shows up in the comics, all hell breaks loose. And there's just a lot of bad stuff that happens around White Vision. So seeing White Vision now with one episode left is not a good omen for the MCU. Like it may even be that Vision might be the big bad for the next like arc or phase or whatever. I don't know. That's crazy.
Look, all I know is I just feel a big chunky cliffhanger coming.
Oh, you know it.
And I don't want it. I just want to know what happens.
You know that cliffhanger is going to be extra chunky.
Oh my goodness.
Just like my salsa.
Right.
Was there anything that we missed in this past week's episode?
I'm still trying to figure out if Agatha is like really, really evil.
That's a very good question.
It's kind of irritating me because I'm like, you're doing such mean things, but then you're like helping her at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think we got into this last episode, but in the comics, Agatha she's a good character. Like she assists. The first time we see her in the comics, she's assisting the Fantastic Four. She's babysitting for their baby that is super ultra powered.
Yeah, but her origin story doesn't seem like she's good.
Her origin story was she was misunderstood. And this is saying it was very, very similar to the comics. I think it was like maybe her second or third retcon story. She basically was misunderstood and they put her on trial and basically tried to burn her at the stake.
Yeah. But her response seemed very evil.
To live?
I mean,
if somebody tried to beat you with a club and you had a baseball bat and you beat them with a baseball bat, was it self-defense or are you a murderer?
Okay, this is what I'm saying. It just seemed like it was her mother, right?
Yes.
It just she didn't seem to waver in her emotions of what she was going to do. No, she didn't.
Her mother did. She made the little face, and then
that little fake face.
Remember, she
like,
didn't.
Oh, mother, don't kill me.
She hadn't joined.
Oh, but you know what? I'm just gonna kill you because I can.
She hadn't joined. Remember, she hadn't joined the fray yet. And then after she saw everybody else falling, and she had called to her. I think she's like, "Mother, mother," and then
but it was super fake. Like she was playing it off like, "Oh no, mother, please don't."
I don't
you
think
know what?
so.
Let me just snap my fingers and kill you just that.
Her mother didn't have to join in and try to shoot her down. So
I mean, I feel like her mother thought she was doing what was best for the universe.
We'll see. I don't know. I am partial to she's not a villain. She's just trying to help Wanda work through and master her powers.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Maybe. I mean, for the fact that they're coming out with they're bringing out White Vision and she's there.
Yep.
It kind of feels like, you know what? she's really not someone to worry about.
Yeah. And where did Photon go?
She did. She was not in that episode
Monica
whatsoever.
Rambeau
I mean, nobody
disappeared.
was.
Yeah. I know, but if you remember that ending scene from last episode where they open the cellar up and then Quicksilver shows up?
Oh yeah.
So do you think she's fighting Quicksilver? Or I literally don't know what happened.
I don't know. Well, the thing is, that is a matter of fact of, is the witch evil? Because it seems like, well, she's the one that brought that Quicksilver.
She's cautious. That's the other part. Did she actually reach out to another reality
and bring him? What if it is? And what if that's another opening to the X-Men universe?
So many. I told you it was a red herring, though. It was definitely a red herring. It wasn't.
Yeah, because it wasn't him.
So
they were not playing it as it was truly him.
Yeah, she definitely confirmed that her brother Pietro is dead.
He's dead. In this universe.
Yes. Okay. Again, we could be here forever talking about WandaVision. We're as lost as everybody else is. There's so many theories and so much speculation going around.
Mm-hmm.
Help. Send help, please. So we're going to move on to our next segment, Last Week in Nerd News. And we try to keep this as short as possible, but there was so much flying around this week that we just had to include a few things. So we have a few topics that we're going to go over in Last Week in Nerd News, and, we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing first
is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man No Way Home announced.
Why is there no way home?
So, remember at the end of the Spider-Man Far From Home, remember he fought Mysterio. Remember at the end, in the end card, he was swinging through with MJ. It was like, yeah, this is great. And then Mysterio shows up on the big screen in the Big Apple and was like, and Spider-Man was the real attacker in Europe. And his real name is Peter Parker.
Dag, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So maybe Peter's in jail. Maybe he's on the run.
It sounds like he's on the run.
Right. Also, at the same time on Twitter, before they announced the actual title, Tom Holland, Zendaya, and I forget the guy that plays Ned. Zendaya. And I forget the actor that plays Ned. They announced 3 other separate titles at the same time.
Those fake titles.
Yes. But it was like actual Twitter. They were like on Twitter for real.
Yeah.
So people are speculating that these titles may have something else to do with what's going on in this Spider-Man movie. So let me read you the titles and you can help me figure out if these things mean anything or not, or if I'm reaching.
All right.
So the first title, Spider-Man Phone Home. The second title, Spider-Man Home Slice. And the third title, by the way, Home Slice is my favorite. I don't understand. Like, that's just so my generation. Anyway, the last title is Spider-Man Home Wrecker.
Well, Spider-Man Phone Home is just a play on E.T.
For sure, but maybe, you you phone home when you're in jail. Yeah, see what I'm saying?
That's true. I saw someone actually, they commented that the new little title logo for No Way Home looks like a place. I don't know if it was Portugal.
You don't know?
I don't remember. But they commented and he was like, he like lined it up to his country and it literally was the same exact outline of his country, basically. And it was like, is he gonna be like there? Is it just coincidental?
Yeah.
It could just be coincidental.
That is true. So on top of that, when they released the announcement, like it's like a mini short for the actual title, they also had multiple other titles that were listed on this whiteboard as well. So it was like Spider-Man Stay at Home, that was crossed out. It was like stop, hard pass, or Homeschooled. Aunt May says no. Then it was like Zooming Home. It was like, please stop. And then Homesick, they're like, ugh. They're like webcamming. It was like,
I thought they were just playing though. Like they're just playing on the titles because Tom Holland ruined it the last time.
First of all, let's talk about Tom Holland being a serial spoiler. If you ever see Tom Holland,
like me.
if you ever see Tom Holland talking about a movie that you want to see or that you're excited about, just turn the TV off, turn the YouTube off, turn the Facebook off, turn the Instagram off, turn everything, turn your phone, just turn your phone off, throw it in the water, okay? Because Tom Holland is about to spoil whatever movie or whatever's coming out. It actually got so bad, Ashley, that Marvel stopped giving him scripts.
I know.
They literally just give him his lines.
Him and the guy who plays Hawk.
Yes. Hawk is, he's just as bad. Mark Ruffalo, horrible. There's a whole interview where Mark Ruffalo, when he's talking about Infinity War, he's in this interview. He's like, yeah, man, and everybody dies. And the guy's like, what? It's terrible. Terrible.
I mean, no, not everybody dies. They just
Exactly. So much backpedaling from both of them. Tom Holland actually spoiled that there was going to be a third Spider-Man movie before the second one even like stopped filming or something like that. It's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah, both of those guys. Like, yeah.
There's also the question up in the air if Tom Holland will be playing Spider-Man after this.
There were rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in this movie, and they vehemently denied that both of them were going to be in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I don't think he's going to do another solo movie for the MCU.
Okay.
I think he's going to do crossovers. If we get a fourth MCU, now I'm not saying he's not going to do solo movies. I definitely think Sony's going to get him to do solo movies.
What do you mean solo movies?
Like Spider-Man movies, because
I
Sony
thought you
owns.
just said he wasn't gonna do anymore.
I'm saying in the MCU, Sony owns Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's going to do Spider-Man under the Sony banner, not connected to the MCU. If we get a fourth one, I will be so surprised. But Spider-Man. First of all, full disclosure, Spider-Man is my favorite hero, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that while Fox was tanking the X-Men franchise and the MCU was just getting started, I think they did a decent job with Spider-Man. I was still going on record as saying Andrew Garfield was the best representation of a Spider-Man in film, but his writers and the director and all that stuff, the movies just sucked around him. It was really horrible. But these movies with the MCU's involvement are so freaking good.
Yeah.
And I hope that they can squeeze a fourth one in the MCU out with him. I don't want them to kill him off because I think that's cheap. I think they should just let him do his thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like Spider-Man doing his thing and now he's handling New York the way that he always handles New York.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
Because I want, honestly, a long game, I want to see a Sinister Six movie from Sony. Because they've
Sinister
had
Six?
Oh, yeah, where they set up 6 villains. It's kind of interchangeable, but Vulture's already in place. Mysterio was one of them at one time. Green Goblin. They have all these other pieces set up in their movies, I think, to do something really cool down the line.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
It will. So let us know what you think about Spider-Man No Way Home. Let us know if you have any theories that, before the trailers drop and they actually show deceptive trailers of what's going to happen. So the next thing on the docket, we have PlayStation State of Play was announced.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big meh for me.
Yeah, it's pretty lackluster.
Don't get me wrong. They had some good games. They had the Ratchet and Clank game looked really, not Ratchet and Clank.
I was like, Ratchet and Clank was not on there.
What's the game called? With the girl and that thing in the combat. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. You know that game? It looked like...
Oh, the one that they opened up with?
I don't think they opened up with. It's just when you started watching with me. Because the first thing they talked about was like Crash Bandicoot, and you didn't care
the thing
about
that was creepy.
And then, that was Returnal.
That was
Returnal. They talked about... then they ended with like Final Fantasy VII Remake. But
Whack.
A couple extra... I liked Final Fantasy VII Remake, but...
Oh, you did?
I did. I was really excited for the prospect of like a new game and stuff because they changed.
You didn't seem like you liked it that much.
They changed how the game. No, they just did really poor boss implementation.
Okay.
But I don't understand why they ended on Final Fantasy VII Remake with 2 new characters and a new piece of the story.
It was just so lackluster. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
That's why we're not going to talk about it. We're literally not going to talk about it. It was really meh. You can go see. They have some cool stuff. They did talk about Deathloop again, and they talked about this new Five Nights at Freddy's little piece for anybody that likes Five Nights at Freddy's. But for us, it just didn't seem like anything that we wanted to do a full blown talk about. You know?
Yeah, it wasn't that intriguing.
It was not, which was really sad because I wanted to be excited about it.
I did.
But on Friday, how about Pokemon?
Yeah, Pokemon Presents.
Yeah. Watching it. First of all, they took me back to my childhood. 7-year-old Jacob. Game Boy.
Monster.
Right. I was not that much of a monster.
Okay, sure.
But they take you back. They did this giant flashback through time, all of the games, all of the products. Because I remember that Pikachu shaking thing. We would literally pass it around class, the step-o-meter.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would step with the Pikachu thing. You were supposed to step with it. Nobody did that.
Y'all was jacked up.
We
You
literally
kids,
just passed
you probably
it.
running
We
all
just-
over the place anyway.
Yeah, we just exactly right. We just passed it around class while we like shake it up for like 15 minutes and then pass it to our friend or whatever. It was real dumb.
That's funny.
I know they showed more Pokemon Snap.
Mm-hmm.
There were rumors flying about before this even happened that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were getting remakes.
Okay.
And they got remakes. There is a very vocal contingent of fans that are upset that the games look like that. You know, that 2.5D where it's like overhead.
Uh-huh.
People are a little upset about it.
That's not what it was originally?
That's what it was originally.
Why are they upset?
Because if you're remaking it, do it the way that they did Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee.
Oh, okay. Like more...
I can kind of see that, but at the same time, this is being handled by another company other than Game Freak.
Okay.
So, and then they had that open world Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Look at here.
Go ahead.
I have never played a Pokemon game.
That's not true. You played Sword and
Hold
Shield.
on. I was going to say
Okay,
that.
all right. Go. Sorry.
I have never
Sorry.
played a Pokemon game up to Sword and Shield.
All right.
I played that half-heartedly.
You beat it though.
I actually didn't.
You did. No, you rolled credits.
Okay.
If you roll credits,
I rolled credits,
consider
but I
that,
didn't do that after part. That
yeah,
was
you didn't
afterwards.
get your one legendary. Your 2 legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, but it was still pretty half-heartedly. I mean, I started it and I couldn't stop it at that point because that's just how I am. I'm just like, if I'm going to start it, I'm going to finish it. But yeah, I have never been that interested in the Pokemon world, mainly because to me, it's constrictive.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I get that you're like on an adventure, but it just seems very controlled.
That's interesting that you say that. Pokemon Sword and Shield was the first Pokemon game that I have ever completed my Pokédex for.
Mm-hmm.
That said, this was the worst Pokemon title that I have ever played in my life.
Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Oh God, yes. It
You
was
played
very
it like you was
because I wanted
on
to again
speed.
I would just wanted to complete the decks, but at the same time, at some point, I just wasn't having that much fun with it.
It wasn't fun.
That's why I haven't played the DLC as much. The gameplay, the way that they did the open world, the way that they like spurred the story on, it was not that fun.
No. I mean, to me, I'm one of those people that's just like, Pokemon always seems like it's more directed to kids.
It definitely is.
And that's one reason probably why I've never gotten into it. Even when I was a kid, I don't know. I was just never into that whole type of RPG of Pokemon. It was just not my thing. But this new open world Pokemon Legends, how do you pronounce it? Arceus? Arceus?
Everybody thought it was Arceus, me included, but apparently it's Arceus.
Arceus. Well, either way, it looks really interesting. It kind of gave me like a Breath of the Wild open world feel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I might be interested if I see a little more, but if it just like turns left and it's like, oh no, that's not what it is, then I'll back away.
For longtime Pokemon fans, let's talk about some of the features that were showcased in this mainline Pokemon game that are new to the series from what we can see. So the first things first, you could catch Pokemon just by throwing
The
a
ball.
Pokeball. Yeah, not attacking them with a Pokemon, not going into a battle. Just see a Pokemon, throw a Pokeball.
That's what I liked. I was like, that's more realistic to what
It
Pokemon
is.
are supposed to be.
That was kind of like if you remember the Detective Pikachu movie. That's how they were catching Pokemon there.
That's what. Yeah, I was like, that's how it's supposed to be. You don't have to always fight to catch them.
Right. Then on top of that, did you notice that the character ran and did like some type of dodge roll?
Maybe.
So
I think I've seen it. I saw that.
So I wonder if your character can get hurt by other Pokemon.
I mean, that would be more realistic.
It is, right? You have to avoid splash damage.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing this is huge for the series. Other than Pokken Tournament, I'm pretty sure this is the first game to show or Smash Brothers. This is the first game to show another Pokemon directly attacking another Pokemon.
Okay.
Normally, you'll see one Pokemon on one side of the screen, the other Pokemon on the other side of the screen. The attacking Pokemon will shift a little bit, and then the defending Pokemon will take damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And it's been like that for you, even with other
But this
moves.
one was like, they were like fighting.
Yes. Or it'll be like, here's a big foot on the defending Pokemon to show that they're getting high jump kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first one that actually showed them legitimately like attacking.
Realistic. It just seemed like a more realistic twist on the game.
Yes. So the interesting point is it takes place, I believe, where Diamond and Pearl take place, but it takes place way in the past.
Yeah, because it's like they got like old ancient Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon Legends.
Yeah. And the environment, I think, is centered around, I don't remember which period. I think it's the Edo period. That's like the most famous in Japan, but don't quote me on that. It is centered around an older period in Japan's timeline.
Yeah.
So,
I'm interested.
Yeah.
They piqued my interest.
Yes. The Sinnoh region is not a part of Japan, but it's like a fictional spot. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to talk about, again, like I said, guys, we have a lot in the nerd news portion this week. So a Kickstarter, a very popular Kickstarter, and full disclosure, I am a backer of this Kickstarter. This is Radlands. Radlands is a game that was created. It's basically a post-apocalyptic, your Mad Max style Fallout.
You kickstarted this?
Yes.
Why don't I know about this? I do not know what this game is that you were speaking of, so I had no idea that you were supporting some sort of Kickstarter.
I did. Remember a couple weeks ago when I was like, I have 1 hour to go put this money down?
No.
You don't remember that? I literally came upstairs like, I need this money now.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this game is about.
Okay. So Radlands is created by a former Magic the Gathering designer.
Okay.
It's a 2-player specific game.
Oh, it's just 2 players?
Just 2
That's
players.
interesting.
That's why I was like, hey, me and you play. So it's just 2 players. It is a little bit of a card game, but water is your main resource. And basically you're trying to take out your enemy's base. So each base has 3 different parts to it. You have different special abilities. It's not summon, I don't remember the word, but you can basically call on different allies like punks, or they have like special unique abilities. And
interesting.
I've seen people play it, and every time I've seen somebody play it, I've always just been like, oh, I just want to play this game.
It's in Kickstarter,
Yeah,
but people are playing it?
Yeah, well, they sent out, like preview copies to different board game reviewers to check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So from what I can see, this game looks great. Takes 20 to 40 minutes. It's basically, I feel like for you and me, because we talked about our Magic the Gathering issue and why we can't play Commander together because our decks are so lopsided all the time. Mm-hmm. This will basically fill that void.
Okay.
So I'm interested to check. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that it's good. Daniel Pachiknik, I think. Don't quote me on that. Pachnik, maybe. Daniel Pachnik. We're going to go with Daniel Pachnik. Daniel Pachnik is the game designer for this game, but it has great graphics. Overall, it looks like a game that we would have fun with, so I backed it. So anyway, last week, the backers all received an email stating that Radlands was facing a copyright dispute.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? So a copyright dispute basically means that somebody else is claiming the intellectual property for it. So they took the entire Kickstarter down. This is after it got funded. Like, it got funded great. Like, when I say people went hard for this game, people went hard for this game. They pulled the entire Kickstarter. Matter of fact, let me look and see how much. They asked for 25,000 Canadian. They got 608,000 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
Yep. So they got the IP dispute, took the Kickstarter down, and as of this week, it has been resolved. Kickstarter's back up, and everything's fine.
All right.
I just think it's really interesting that for a moment there, somebody was like, "This is my property. I did this." You know what I mean? Enough to
always trying to jump on. You know, somebody's always trying to jump on.
Right? Enough to make the site. That's the thing. Enough to make Kickstarter be like, "Hey, hold on, pause. We're gonna take this down."
Right.
So that was just an interesting little blurb that happened. But Radlands is fine now. So the last piece of news that we're going to talk about, Final Fantasy VII. Besides the Final Fantasy remake Intergrade that they had announced, they also announced a couple different things that were kind of confusing to me. They're basically releasing a whole nother remake of Final Fantasy called Ever Crisis, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why they're remaking Final Fantasy and then at the same time doing something different. Now, I believe it's for mobile devices. And then they're also doing the First Soldier, which is a battle royale, which is coming to iOS and Android. I feel like they're milking Final Fantasy VII for all they can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, like, they just keep adding more and more, and I don't even know if it's beneficial to the player.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really know that much about Final Fantasy VII. I wasn't that interested in the game when you were playing it. So I can't say too much about it. I mean, but it does just seem like they keep going on and on and on. And they're just not like, just make something new.
I mean, the game does look pretty. You got that.
I mean, yeah.
It's just one of those things where I see them doing things and I just hope that it doesn't affect what's going on with this Final Fantasy VII remake. They at least delivered enough content for me for the original remake. Because I don't know if you know, Ashley, the original Midgard section was like a couple of hours in the original game. And I mean a couple, I mean like literally 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And when they did the remake, they actually extended it out to last like 30 to 60 hours. And you really felt it in some areas that they put the padding way too much on.
Yeah, I remember you like, cause they would just like do random stuff. Like you would get an item and then have to chase something to get it back.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping that they set us up really well. You know?
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to move on to our main topic this week. Paramount Plus has been announced. And Ashley, I got a question for you.
What's the question?
That we're going to try to figure out today.
All right.
How much streaming is too much streaming?
I feel like it's getting there.
Let's get into it. Okay, let's jump right in. So Paramount Plus was announced this week. Now, it is, I guess, CBS All Access. It's basically taking over for CBS All Access. Mm-hmm. And if you sign up right now before March 4th, you can lock in 1 year of Paramount Plus for around $30, somewhere a little.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
$30 for a year of Paramount?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So things like A Quiet Place 2 is going to stream exclusively on there after it debuts in theaters. They said there's going to be live sports on there because obviously they have the CBS package.
They got Rugrats coming to the streaming service, and it's all the original voice casts.
Is it a movie or is it what?
No, it's the show. They're redoing the show.
Yeah,
and in like a kind of like a 3D kind of animation, and they have like the original voice cast of like the babies.
What?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I watched the trailer for it, and I was like, that sounds exactly like Tommy, and apparently it was. Wow. It really was.
So not only is Paramount Plus going to include the CBS, like you said, you're going to have Rugrats. It's also going to include CBS, BET, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, MTV, and the Smithsonian Channel.
Paramount is going to include all that?
All of that, plus you're going to get new and classic movies from Paramount, Miramax, and MGM.
That's kind of hard. Like, they just keep doing things that just like, do I not want to have this?
Yeah. So if you want to do it with ads, it's going to be $5 a month. CBS All Access right now costs $6 a month or $60 a year for a limited commercial plan. So, and then we're getting all of this from Business Insider, by the way. So it'll be interesting to see. They do have. Oh, okay. So you can sign up for a CBS All Access subscription ahead of the transition, and you can lock in a special discounted rate if you enter the code Paramount Plus. Again, now this is not sponsored or anything. We're just giving you the information. Make the decision with what you will, but if you're going to make the decision to get it, you might as well get it and get the best price. You know what I mean?
So how much is it going to be for a year?
So you do Paramount Plus, you can get the limited commercial plan for $30 or 1 year for commercial free for $50. That's 50% off the regular annual rate. So I guess it's going to be $10 a year, $10 a month, maybe probably a little bit more than that if you do it monthly. So I'm assuming somewhere between 12 and 13. So it's close to Netflix prices, but instead of being $100 for an entire year, you want to get it for $50.
I don't know. I mean, I might do that and like jank out Hulu.
So let's talk about a few things before we really get into the nitty gritty of this topic at large. So Paramount Plus is the next in a long line of cable channels that have made the jump to digital and are charging for their services. The hard part that I have, especially with Paramount Plus or CBS All Access, which is turning into that, or like a Peacock, which is NBC, is if you just get you an antenna and a wire, like you can go get these channels for free. Like, you know what I mean? These were like traditionally free channels. On top of that, these were channels that were also in Hulu. We'll get to that in a second as well. But you got Discovery Plus, which is also a new streaming service that's coming out that I've been seeing ads for lately. Obviously, we got Disney Plus and their affiliated Plus channels. So you got ESPN Plus, Hulu Plus. I feel like I'm missing one more Plus in the Disney Plus family.
There's a Hulu Plus?
Yes, we literally have Hulu Plus with no commercials.
Just Hulu.
It's Hulu Plus with the no commercials.
HBO Max?
No, HBO Max is not in that family, but HBO Max is still included in those because there's movie channels too. You got your Showtime, you got HBO Max, and then there's a plethora of other stuff.
There's so many.
And at some point, how much is too much?
I feel like once every freaking channel has to have a streaming service, that's too much. Every channel?
We got away. Our generation.
Like, I get the free channels that are like free, like Discovery and all that. But like NBC, like they're coming out with the Peacock. I'm like, I'm not paying for a channel.
NBC took The Office away from Netflix. That was basically their whole thing.
Trash.
Netflix, The Office was the most streamed item on Netflix. The Office was. And they were like, well, we're just going to pull that over to Peacock and make you pay for it.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. I think people only have so much time to watch so many things in their budget. And like something like The Office, I've watched a couple times on Netflix just because I freaking love the show. But it's one of those shows that you watch when you're having when you have a show hole, you know what I mean? It's not like going to stack. I'm not just going to be like, and there are some people like this, but I'm not just going to be like, oh, instead of watching these new shows, I'm going to watch The Office. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I'm saying like when I get done with a show and I don't have anything to watch, then I'll be like, I'm going to watch The Office.
No, I'm not that person.
No.
Are you that person?
I am. I'll go back and watch an old show if I got nothing to like. If I'm not in the mood for nothing,
there's like no shows. The only show that I've actually ever rewatched is The Office.
You rewatch Family Matters with me?
Oh yeah, and like okay. I will say that really old like nostalgia shows, I will go back and watch like the classics, the 60s sitcoms and all that, and the 80s and all that. I will rewatch, but I don't really watch the like early 2000s, maybe even late 90s type stuff.
I'm saying when you ain't got
90s.
Nothing else to watch.
No.
You take part in a lot of YouTube. And there's a lot of stuff that you have. But I'm just saying, if you ever hit a show hole, which every once in a while I'll hit a show hole. If I hit a show hole, then I'm like, oh, let me just grab something else.
It's like impossible for me to hit a show hole now.
Right now?
We have Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I have something to watch everywhere. I don't even keep up. I just watch things when I feel like watching them. I'm like, I might not ever finish some of these things, but I just watch them when I feel like it.
Yeah. The reason that because I was very vehemently against Disney Plus.
Yeah, you really were.
And then
I was like, sorry, Jacob, this is happening.
Do you remember? It wasn't even that. Do you remember what they did that got me on board?
Was it because they put the entire MCU on there?
It wasn't. I already knew that was happening, but they linked it into Hulu and they linked it into ESPN. That's what it was.
We got all three of them.
And
for
so you get all of that.
Price.
So you got this insane price and you bundled them together because ESPN Plus. I'm a fantasy football player, so you get like premium fantasy football advice just for being a part of Disney Plus. And then we got to include a discount for Hulu just for being a part of Disney Plus. I mean,
we was gonna get Disney Plus no matter what.
I know.
We have children,
but that is true. But even then, she watches PBS more than anything.
Yeah, that's.
We basically watch the movies, and then
we watch the movies, not really the shows on Disney.
They do drip feed, but obviously we've been watching WandaVision, and we'll probably watch a couple other.
She does
shows.
like the dinosaurs,
yeah,
which is an old nostalgia show for me from childhood.
After we got past the initial month of Disney Plus, we did go through that question of whether or not we were going to keep Disney Plus, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then I think when we started watching like The Mandalorian and watching WandaVision, these shows,
we started questioning what we were going to get rid of, like Hulu.
Yeah, because we still watch things on Hulu. But
not really.
Yes, we do. We have Saturday Night Live that comes on there. There's a couple other live shows that are only specific to that.
Yeah.
Then we have.
But now NBC is making their own, so we don't need Hulu.
They haven't pulled. I think
they're going to.
It'll be if they do.
If they do, we might as well not have Hulu.
But there's so many good anime on there.
Yeah.
We're literally watching an anime on Hulu right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like before that, I didn't even know there was any anime on there. Like I had gone on there a couple times and just not seen anything too eye-catching.
That's because you weren't looking hard enough.
Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I need to go back on there. Maybe
you do.
Have they put some stuff on there? I didn't know. There was a movie that they had recently put on there that I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's what's annoying. It's always just like, okay, well, they keep grabbing you with like a movie you want to see that's not on any other streaming service. So I'm like, I'm either going to buy the movie or rent the movie. I mean, I guess renting the movie isn't that bad because it's cheaper than just buying for a whole subscription.
Yeah, we had a video rental place, Family Video. I think they're just now closing, but we had been using.
They're still open.
No, they're
open, but they're only open online.
So you mean they're Redbox now? Not even Redbox. They're what's that called? Like GameFly? They're
like
GameFly.
Voodoo? I don't even know. I don't know what they're doing online anymore.
We're not going to get into them. I can't. But what you're talking about with Hulu does lead me into my next point. Mm-hmm. And how many more individual streaming services are we going to see? And what does this mean for Netflix and Hulu? Because every service that comes out is going to pull content away from Netflix and Hulu.
I don't think it's going to be a problem for Netflix because Netflix has been backing themselves up since they started getting big and then they saw that other people were starting to do streaming. Now they just have Netflix originals and they're getting bigger and bigger on that.
Okay.
And I think they're just going to be able to fly their own flag for that.
Hulu is still getting NBC content. They're still getting Fox content. They just made a partnership, I think, with Funimation. So they're getting anime. And then they're doing, I think, maybe old shows.
I don't know.
That's
what I think. If anyone has something to worry about, it's Hulu because they depend on everyone else and everybody else is starting to make their own streaming service.
If Hulu goes under, though, I don't think you understand because that's where we watch The Masked Singer instead of watching it on Fox. So that means we go from Hulu to subscribing to Fox. You remember they used to have Nickelodeon and Comedy Central and I can't remember if they had MTV, but they did have Comedy Central. I think they even had Discovery. Yeah.
Because we used to watch Drunk History on there.
We used to watch Drunk History and we used to watch The Daily Show and The Colbert Show on there before they pulled it off and pulled it to, I don't know where those shows are right now.
I think they're on their own streamings. Well, not their own streaming service, but their own like online thing.
So I haven't seen those except for the little snippets they put on YouTube. But even HBO Max, which is kind of doing the same thing. Paramount is kind of copying what they're doing, and what Disney is doing is they're offering you movies, but like HBO Max's thing is, oh, well, you want some anime? Here's some anime. Oh, you want some Looney Tunes? Here's some like, I did not know HBO Max had Bugs Bunny. Like with me,
HBO Max got nostalgia.
Yes,
they do,
but they got the new fresh hotness too, because you got all the new movies are dropping on there. They have their own original programs.
It's not all the new movies; it's just certain ones.
It's certain ones, but they still have their own original shows too that dropped on there.
I don't. There's only one I watch, and that's Insecure. And everything else,
there's more
I don't
than
watch.
that. There's more than that, though.
I mean, there is, but for me, it's not that beneficial to my entertainment.
I just want you to think of the general person, though. That's, like
even
a
the
hard
anime.
movie
I don't
watch.
feel like there's not too much anime.
So when I look at HBO Max's anime, they don't have that much. They basically have like enough to bring you in. They said they have Crunchyroll, but I don't think it when I was on there, I don't remember it being just like a full blown slate of anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't feel like there was.
They had some stuff, but it just wasn't like a ton of stuff.
It wasn't enough for me to be like, I'm going to get this subscription for the anime. It wasn't enough. I literally get the subscription once Insecure comes out, and then I cancel it.
We have been talking about for a minute of getting HBO Max, especially like this year.
Yeah.
We missed the Wonder Woman thing, and apparently that movie
was
wasn't that
horrible.
Good.
We dodged a bullet.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry is the movie that's out right now on HBO Max.
Oh, it's out? Oh, yeah. And we were going to get that because KK loves Tom and Jerry, so we were going to watch that on there.
Yeah.
I mean, we might end up, because there are some movies right now coming out that we want to see, like Godzilla and King Kong, the movie with Denzel Washington. I don't remember what it's called, but I did want to see it. And there's a few other movies that are coming out. Nope, that's on Prime. But either way, see, even with Prime, we still got. I forgot that subscription that we have.
That is a subscription as well, but
I mean, technically, we don't even use that subscription. It's just there because we get Prime shipping, and that's about it.
Prime's business model is insane.
Yeah,
we don't have enough time to go talk about how they actually make money, but Prime's business model is insane.
Yeah.
But they include so much that Amazon Prime, the video service, just kind of sits there for us. So there's how much is too much? How much is too much? I think especially with the pandemic going on, I think we haven't gotten HBO Max yet. I think we're actually going to get it soon, but we justify HBO Max as if this wasn't a pandemic going on, we would take our family to the movies at least once a month to go see a movie together as a family, right?
Yeah, that's what we did before.
So I think HBO Max, is what, $15, $16, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can justify getting HBO Max just because it makes sense for what we would have done in our recreational budget. I don't know if we would keep it long term.
No, probably not.
But at least this year is something we can justify. Now, with Paramount Plus on the horizon, I think the question is, will we be getting it?
I don't know. It's actually just with the Rugrats alone. It's tempting.
It is very tempting, but there's just there's only so much you can watch.
There is. That's why I'm always down for like dropping one subscription and to add on another one. And I mean, when it comes down to it, I might do like a 50-50, like just like half the year we have Hulu, the other half we have Paramount.
There's nothing for us to drop right now. You can't drop Hulu right now.
I can't because Masked Singer is coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got the Masked Singer coming.
That show.
I'm still watching a ton of shows on there. You're watching shows with me on there.
I'm watching shows by myself on there.
Exactly. So I'm like, you can't drop Hulu. We tried to drop every time we think about dropping Netflix, Netflix drops another original or something else that we want to see.
And despite what it sounds like, we don't just watch TV all day, y'all.
We really don't.
I literally watch maybe like an hour of like actual sit down TV a day, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we're gamers. We play board games. I mean, we have kids. There's so many different things. And that's also a big part of why this announcement is even crazier, because we only have so much stuff we can do.
Yeah, at night we might binge a little more because the kids are asleep.
Yeah,
but
that's if I don't have work from music piling up.
Right.
So it's hard, y'all. It's hard. If you're you know what? Let us know. Are y'all gonna be getting Paramount Plus? For real, I think we really want to know.
I want to know where it ends. I mean, honestly, I think it's just the whole fact where I'm just going to pick the ones I like the most and the ones that they make the most sense financially.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying, everyone was trying when streaming started. Everybody was trying to get out of this whole, cable contract crap and the increasing prices on cable. Everybody was trying to escape that, but now they have internet hiked up, and on top of that they're adding all these different streaming services, and in the end the prices are going to be the same as what cable used to be, is what we were trying to get out of.
Girl, you keep talking like that, you're going to start a revolution.
So I'm just like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm probably not just going to keep adding on subscriptions until there is no end. Right. I'm just not going to. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, yeah, we'll miss out on some things. People will be talking about, oh, did you see this? I'm like, no, because I can't have every subscription in the world. Even if I was rich, that would just be unreasonable,
Yeah.
Just unreasonable.
Yeah. I think at this point, we're just going to we've reached a slippery slope. I think companies have realized that cable is no longer the future. And I think every cable network conglomerate that holds multiple channels at the same time are going to be putting out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, isn't Hulu owned by a cable company?
Hulu is owned by it used to be, I think it was ABC. This is the thing. This is the crazy part, actually. Hulu was owned by ABC, NBC, and Fox together. And eventually they broke up, and I think ABC holds the rights. Disney currently has full control of Hulu.
Wow.
This will be in 2024. So mark it down. In 2024, we might be something might be going crazy.
Look at here. Disney is the Wizard of Oz, okay?
Nah, man.
He is the Wizard. Disney is the Wizard of Oz. They're behind the curtain of everything.
No. Disney is the Wicked Witch of the West, okay? Bump them being behind the curtain. Disney's the villain, okay? Y'all just ain't realized.
Look, I'm just saying, sometimes Disney will literally be like, oh yeah, we own that. I had no idea. There's so many times that has happened, and I'm like, really?
I knew when I was younger, I knew Disney was starting to get crazy when they bought ABC. I mean, they bought ABC and then they got the Family Channel. It was ABC Family Channel.
I love that channel.
Then they got ESPN. But again, they went through ABC. It's like, yeah, ABC, ESPN. I was like, hold up, no. Disney has their hands in a lot of stuff. So we'll see. Again, in 2024. It could all go crazy. As of right now, Disney and Comcast both still have a stake in Hulu. So at least through 2024, they should play nice. So for like the next 3 years.
We'll see.
We shall see. Are we going to get it? We don't know. Are you going to get it? Let us know. And that has been what's on our minds this week. We had another topic that we had planned, and there was just so much news and the Paramount Plus and all the other stuff. So I'm very happy when weeks like this happen because it just creates our show for us, and it gives us more stuff to talk to you about. It gives Ashley and I more stuff to talk about together. Yeah,
it's fun. I like it. I like our time here together talking about random stuff.
I do. Random nerd stuff. Again, shout outs to Michael. Thank you for the first episode. Ashley, before we go, is there anything you want to say to the people?
All I want to say is like, subscribe, and hit that bell button for notifications on our next episode release.
All right, so this has been another episode of the Jacob and Ashley Show.
The Ashley and Jacob Show.
We thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you have a great day.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Michael. This is something he likes to do sometimes. I'm sure this is very irritating to you. It's not our song. Okay.